and maybe we'll slow down and start a new book. I think we will start a new book next week, but we're going to keep this one, and maybe we'll just do one chapter a month. We'll keep this book, but at the same time work on another book. Does that sound okay?
Yep. Okay.
Okay. So
because I just understand my chapter. Difficulty.
Okay. Which was your chapter, Marwa?
The Olmec riddle.
Good. The Olmec riddle. That's the name of the chapter. And I would say probably 5% of Americans, maybe less than 5% of people in the United States have heard about the Olmecs. Nobody knows about the Olmecs. That's why this is the suppressed history. So if you look at the title of the book, it says suppressed history. So my question is, who, according to the book, is suppressing the history? What does it mean, suppressed history? Can anybody define what that means, suppressed history?
The hidden.
I'm sorry?
The hidden.
The hidden. That's too nice.
Mm-hmm.
Hidden can be cute. Let's say it this: intentionally hidden.
Mm-hmm.
We need the word intentionally in there, okay? It's ominous. It's not nice. So suppressed means something wants to be free, but it cannot be free. That's the nuance. So who is suppressing the history of what this book talks about? This one, I think.
The American founders?
One more time?
The America's founders?
Okay, it's a little bit more defined than that. Mahmoud?
The government?
It's actually not the government, but we discussed this in one of our DDMs not too long ago. The Smithsonian Institute. Do you remember us talking about the Smithsonian Institute, Mahmoud?
No. No.
I forgot where that is. I have to find it too, which lesson it was. Hold on a second. We have so many lessons. It was from Smithsonian.
Yeah, I think we had a DDM published
294.
on the website.
Yes, it was 294. And which is that? I'm looking it up here. Yeah, you studied it too, didn't you?
294, yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking up 294. Into the Wild. That was the Into the Wild story where we talked about the Smithsonian Institute. The Smithsonian Institute is basically a museum in Washington, D.C. It's actually private. Some guy in the UK, and you don't have to write this, Santa, I'm just going to say it quickly. Some guy in the UK donated a huge amount of money, and his name was Smith. Actually, I think his name was Smithson, something like that. And he wanted that money to be used for educating Americans. It's very strange because the Smithson guy never visited America. He never, ever once went to America, and yet he gave all of his money, and it's like a huge amount of money at that time for America. So it's always been kind of people who know about this are always confused and always wonder why. I mean, that's like, Coach Shane giving millions of dollars to Indonesia for their Indonesian people's education. That doesn't make any sense. Can you guys hear me? Okay, good, good. It doesn't make any sense. So it's very bizarre that this guy would do that. And now people are suggesting it's not just for education. The Smithsonian Institute is not just for education. Perhaps it's for Eurocentric education. Yeah, you can write this one down. People suspect the Smithsonian is not just for general education, but for a Eurocentric education. A Euro. It's not N. It's actually A. Good. Do you guys understand what I'm saying?
Yes, somehow, but I know that in Smithsonian Institute is a large institute in America. It holds many museums there.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's a beautiful place.
Museum be included in Smithsonian Institute.
I'm sorry?
Many museums, most of museums, I think, in America is included in the Smithsonian Institute.
That's right. The Smithsonian is a huge organization. It's a massive organization, and it's under the care of the U.S. government. Yes, it's amazing. I mean, scientists, great research, amazing things. Yeah, it's some of the buildings. It's about not just art. It's more about anthropology and technology and science. It's a very almost like a university type of an institute. Robert has got maybe a bad connection. Robert, are you using Wi-Fi?
I am using a mobile internet, so it could be sometimes much worse.
Yeah, okay. I hope that I'm recording this, Robert, so if there is something you want to hear, you can check it out later too, okay? Yeah, so personally, I have no idea. The Smithsonian Institute is just a museum to me, several museums, like Marwa said. It sounds like a fantastic, wonderful place. But once again, we have this group of people called the Olmecs, and their history is fascinating. It's so amazing. If you ask any American who discovered America, almost every American will say Christopher Columbus. And then if you ask the Americans, well, how about the Indians? How did the Indians, the American Indians, how did the Indians come to America? And Americans who have been educated will say the Indians came from Asia, from Russia into Alaska, the Bering Strait. That's how they came here thousands of years ago. So this is what most Americans believe. But if you go back to the Olmecs, what can you tell us, Marwa, about the Olmecs? Are they European? Are they Asian?
I think that some evidence suggests that they had an African origin.
So what evidence? And evidence is a weak word. There's a stronger word. I mean, what evidence? What was the evidence, Marwa?
The large, massive Olmec heads.
There you go.
And
there you go. Santa, can you find a picture of the large, massive Olmec heads? Yeah, I want to have a picture there. We can see Santa's mouse moving. She's probably on Google right now. And look at that. Does that look like a guy from France or Italy or Portugal? No. Does that look like an Asian guy? It could be a little bit Asian, but like Marwa said, that's an African. That's a black guy. There's no question about that. I mean that's just one example. There are many examples, and they look pretty African to me. So the point of the Olmec story, why, Marwa, and I'm asking you this, why don't Americans know about the Olmecs?
Because the Smithsonian Institute, the mainstream of their research hide this information?
Yeah, they hide it, or we could say they focus on Columbus, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's right. So I'll let Santa catch up. Why don't Americans know about, why don't Americans know about the Olmecs? Why don't Americans know about the Olmecs? And Marwa's answer was good. Because the Smithsonian, which sets the educational background for history in the U.S., pushes the Columbus story. He discovered America. It's impossible for Africans to have discovered America. And why do you think that is, Marwa? Any ideas on why that might be?
Yeah, they want to. I want to say they want to say that the America, define the America as a paradise populated by savages to occupy their land. This is the main idea. They
Okay, I agree. That's a little bit different than what I'm asking, but yes, what you're saying is that's right. That is the Smithsonian's story. That is the Smithsonian story. And I'm just going to give you my answer. The fact was, it was racial superiority. That's why. They believed that the Native Americans were savages and that the Africans were savages too. And it was impossible for the European people at that time to accept the idea that anyone who was less civilized than them could possibly have discovered this new land. America was called the New World.
world, yeah.
Yeah, so it's impossible for Africans to have discovered it, and that's the whole idea. So this is very interesting, and I'm just going to throw something extra out here. The word history, there's always been a joke that history is only written by the victors.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's kind of the situation here, perhaps. So what do you think after reading the section, Marwa? What do you think about the Olmecs? Did you know about them?
Somehow. I think I don't know. Of course, if I just see their faces, I can't recognize if they are Africans or Asian. But many researchers suggested that they are African, and the official story hides this information to justify what the American founders of the New World did with those people, those original people.
Yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Santa, I'm going to give you another link Boom, boom, boom. Oh, that's not what I wanted. The page view image. There we go. Santa, can you include this in their script now? I just sent you a link. It should be a picture. Now this is a couple other pictures of statues that they found, and you'll see it really does perhaps look like an African. But look at the bottom picture. Santa, can you go down a little? Bottom to the right. Oops. Make it bigger, please, Santa. And the guy with the long hair. There you go. There you go. And the pointed beard. Does that guy look? Whoa. Does that guy look African? What does he look like?
The first one looks look an African, I think.
Yeah, I mean the guy on the bottom right. The guy on the bottom right. Just leave it there, Santa. That's fine.
In the bottom? No. In the bottom,
Bottom
right? No. I actually don't know, but I think that maybe an Asian.
Okay, yeah, exactly. I agree. He doesn't look African. He looks Chinese or maybe Caucasian, but yeah, to me he looks a little bit more Asian, doesn't he?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And even the facial hair. If you talk about facial hair, Santa, can you use the pen to point out the facial hair? No, it's not in my. It's going to be the pen and go to.
This is way too advanced for me. Where's the pen?
Maybe I'll take it from you. No, I can't. That's okay. If you see the pointed hair at the bottom of his chin and then right above his lip, this is typical for Asian men, and for Western men, meaning white guys. The beard is full, including for it's all over the cheeks too. So to me, they say that this is a white guy. It's not a white guy. It's an Asian guy. And like Santa wrote it, Chinese. I would say the guy was probably Chinese. So these have been in America for thousands of years before Christopher Columbus. But the interesting thing is you will never, ever hear about this in any American elementary school, middle school, high school, or even college. Usually it's upper level college classes and graduate school students that study about these facts. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that strange? I'm just curious as to everybody's reaction.
Yeah, this is really strange because this is supposed to be your history.
Exactly. It's fact. It's not a story. It's fact, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the point of the book. The point of the book is to show the suppressed history, that there are many, many, many things that are facts in history of North America, Central America, South America, that the people are not told. And somebody's making a decision to not tell them. And they suspect that the Smithsonian Institute is the one who's making the decision not to tell the public. And why are they doing that? To maintain a Eurocentric view of the world. Now, is that true? I have no idea, but it is rather strange. Marwa, would you add something else for this story?
No, this is clear, and I just want to talk with you about the idea of the racial classes, the superior and the savages.
Yes.
I want to talk with anybody here, with all of you.
Sure.
In this. Mm-hmm.
So what did you want to say specifically?
I want to hear all of your ideas about this this idea, the superior and the savages people. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And Mahmoud has a question too. I'll answer that too. Let's go ahead with Marwa's question for a little bit about racial superiority or racial differences. Well, there's so many different studies about this, and personally I think it's very interesting. Some people have done IQ studies, and they show that Europeans, Americans, Asians have a very high IQ. They show that Africans, Central Americans have a much lower IQ. And that's probably true because schools. But what they don't tell you about that is if you take, let's say you take a guy from the countryside in Mexico, and he may have an IQ of 85, which is not high. But if you take him and his wife and his family and you send his children to an American school, absolutely their IQ will be much, much, much higher. It's the opportunity of education. And the opportunity of education comes with freedom. And freedom is a very expensive thing for most countries. Freedom comes with democracy. So by chance, by historical chance, Greece was basically the foundation of the idea of freedom, and we had lots of completely free ideas, and other people who visited Greece, whether they were Chinese or Arab or British, whatever, they also grew their IQs and their ideas and their science and their medicine and their art. It became an area where this freedom allowed for growth, not only in IQ, but in ideas and in economy. In other countries where there's less freedom in that area, there was basically development was very slow. If not, it even stopped. You look at China. China was amazing 1,000 years ago. But then as China shut to the Western world, it also shut its science endeavors. The sailing was amazing, much better than European sailors, much, much better than European sailors. But then they shut their doors to the West, and that's kind of where it stopped. So I don't think there is such a thing as racial superiority. There isn't. It's the opportunity that comes with freedom that allows superiority. If your society has, the more freedom it has, the more superior it can become. I think that's my personal opinion. Marwa, what about you? All that stuff that I said.
Yeah, you mentioned the Chinese example, and I can mention Egyptian example here.
Absolutely, absolutely, yes.
One day we were the superior of the earth, I think.
That's
but
right.
Nowadays it becomes we becomes, I think, the most miserable people in the world.
Oh, no.
Muslim and Arab people. But I think it depends of this is the life. Sometimes
Ups and downs.
you get the ultimate, the top of the world, and then everything change.
That's so true, Marwa. My favorite example is Portugal. Do you know Portugal?
No?
Portugal is the small country next to Spain.
Yeah, yeah. Their language is Portuguese.
Right, right, right. So this small country, Portugal, at one time, the tiny, tiny country, at one time was the world's most powerful country. The reason was they had high education, but they had a powerful navy and they had powerful weapons. That kept them king of the world for a period of time. Now, if we think about Portugal, it's this tiny little country with nothing. And like you said, ups and downs. And I think Portugal is a classic example. And I think most countries in the world, like you just said, will experience this up and down and up and down. Right now, we're just in a different period. That's right.
Yeah, people also become up and down when they in their youth age, they become very powerful and can do anything. But when they get old, I think civilization also has the same story.
Yeah, yeah. So I think I'm guessing you agree with me. Racially, it's opportunity, not there's no superior race. It's more based on opportunity. Is that right?
Yeah.
Other people, Andre, Mahmoud, Robert, Santa. It's a very sensitive subject. Santa, but I think
I wanted to hear Lava's opinion on racial superiority. I mean, does it really exist? That's what she asked, and I just want to hear.
But what do you think about it, Santa?
Racial superiority? I think there are definitely racial differences.
Yeah, physiological, right?
Yeah, but I think it's in line with what you said. It's the timing and context that really decides what is superior and what is not.
Mm-hmm.
And so the differences, some are weighted. Some of the differences are weighted at certain periods of time, era. And for example, I mean, weapons used to be the big thing. And right now, I mean, the violence is just awful. I mean, like Brussels or whatever. But anyway. But
and Iraq, with just a horrible one in Iraq at a soccer game too.
Awful. I mean, people are just killing each other. But, well, mostly one way. But anyway, yeah, I mean, at some point, I mean, sensitivity is important. And some races have that. And at some point, intelligence is important. And some races probably have more, of it than the others. And, like you said, Portugal used to have this amazing naval power, and that's what was important back then. So that's why they dominated. But now it's not like that anymore. You need both. So, I mean, there are differences, but some are weighted more than the others. And,
depending on the period of time.
Yes, and that's what really makes a decision.
Interesting. Oh, that's I can't disagree with that at all. Yeah. Yeah, back then, 400 years ago, naval power was the most important thing. And Portugal, by chance, had the best ship makers, admirals, sailors. So they were the toughest. But then trade became more important. So perhaps Italy took over at that point. And then exploration became important. So perhaps Spain took over. And then after Spain, the British took over after that. So yeah, I think you may be right. Depending on what was important, helped define who was superior. Most of the activity we're talking about took place in Europe, but I'm sure in Asia, obviously the Chinese probably assume they're the most powerful in Asia. In Africa, I don't know which country assumes it's most powerful, but I'm sure there is one country. And the same in South America, Central America too. Other comments? Well, let me go ahead. Santa?
Yeah, I mean, like, okay. So what does Mara think?
Mara, what do you think about all that?
Me?
Give your question specifically again, Santa.
Does racial superiority exist?
Mm.
Do you think it's a real thing?
So Marwa, Santa is asking, do you think racial superiority exists? Do you think it's real or is it not real?
Exist in some brains, but not exist in reality.
Okay, so some people do think it does, but in reality you think it doesn't exist.
It doesn't, because everything changes by time.
Yeah, yeah.
So if they are savages, they can't be superior any time in any era.
Yeah,
So
and
I think
the Egypt example is great. I mean, ancient Egypt, nothing was stronger, nothing was more powerful, nothing was more amazing than ancient Egypt at that time. Their knowledge of so many different things was amazing compared to any other culture on Earth, and then it faded away. Yeah, it's a great example. Yeah, racial superiority can be based on economics. That's right, and that's what I think Santa was saying. It depends on the time. So once again, in the 15, 16, 1700s, the Navy was important. And then in the 18, 1900s, industry, in the 20th century, industry was important. And then in the obviously in the 1900s, military power was very important too. But then now we come back to the economy, and money seems to be the kingpin that shows who's more powerful, and that can be in your community and it can be in the world too. So yeah, Robert, I do agree with that. Let me go back to Mahmoud and Andre's question. Mahmoud's question was about the Olmecs, for example, specifically the Olmecs. If this is a secret, how does the author know about it? So it's not a secret. Once again, that's the idea. Suppressed information and secret information are different. This is suppressed. You could go to the public library. I should do that. I should take a video looking for Olmec stuff in the library. So I'm going to do that because I'm going to go to the library next week, and I'll look for a book specifically about the Olmecs. I'll see what they have, and I'm wondering how many books they have. And then I'll look up the section for Christopher Columbus, and I'll take a little video of how many books they have just to show you. And the idea of suppressed information, once again, is it's there, but you really have to look for it. You really, really, really need to want to find it in order to get it. And then you're going to have to ask lots of questions and get to know the right people to get the right information. This is the idea about suppressed information. Does that answer your question, Mahmoud?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Andre says, Coach Shane, why does the Smithsonian Institute have such influence on social life? Well, this is the thing about education. It's very important. The Smithsonian Institute is the keeper. The Smithsonian Institute is the keeper of American history, and that's the Indian history. Marwa, I'm sorry, could you please mute your mic, please, Marwa? Thank you. It's the American Indian history, the technology history, the anthropology of America, the the sciences, the medicine. They are the keeper of all of that information. So if you are a teacher and you want to get information on American history, you want to write a book, you want to do some research, absolute best place to go is the Smithsonian Institute. They have all the documents, they have all the histories, they have all the things. They have the things themselves, like the Wright brothers airplane. They have that first airplane, the first bicycle, the first radio that was developed in America. Granted, it was developed in Italy. But they have all of that stuff. So that's where you have to go to get this. So because they're the keeper of American history, basically what they say happened, everybody believes. So the teacher goes back to school and teaches books and teaches the facts that they learned from the Smithsonian Institute. So if the Smithsonian Institute controls all the information but doesn't give you some pieces that will influence the culture of the country. And as you all know, I'm sure you can imagine, the government can really change the culture of a people. The government and religion can really affect the people. So if you look at North Korea, North Korea's government is seen as a religion, and they have absolute, complete control over their people. It's like, yeah, it's an extreme example, but that happens even in America, where America is free. Yeah, we do have freedom, but once again, there are some things that are suppressed. And the question is, why is it suppressed, and la-di-da-di-da. That's what the book is discovering. That's what the book is discussing. Why is it suppressed? Does that answer your question, Andre?
Not almost, but who gave this power to Smithsonian Institute? You have only one institute such of a kind.
Yeah, so I'm going to steal the screen from Santa. Hold on a second. All right, and so we're going to jump here to Smithsonian, name, origin. Oh, go here. So the Smithsonian the guy was James Smithson. He's the founder of the Smithsonian Institute. And he was a British scientist. And he left all his money, $500,000. So this is a huge amount of money at the time. He gave it to the United States government. And he said that I'm going to give you this money to, Washington, to the United States government, and the reason is to increase and diffuse the knowledge. Now this was back in this was back in 1829. So at this point in the world, who was the scientific leader of the world? We have to go back to the Royal Academy. Was it the Royal Academy? What is it? The UK. What is it? Santa, can you help me out there?
The British Museum?
No. The British Royal Science people. Who are they?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Is it the Royal Society?
I think so. Wait.
Yeah, I think it is the Royal Society.
Yeah, it's related to the guy we
Yes.
studied in
Yeah, it's the Royal Society. Okay, so at that time when this took place, the Royal Society was the king of all sciences, okay? And they dictated all the education of the world. These people from the Royal Society, they started the universities in the United States. This is one family. So, and British people at this time in America, you know, in the 1800s, 1700s and 1800s, even into the 1900s, they had the British Empire. They believed that they were the absolute kings, the absolute most civilized people of the world, and that's why the Smithsonian, this guy and all his massive amounts of money, went to the United States, and it was the same group of people who are pushing their history, their story. Does that make sense now?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It is interesting, and it's also sad, but I mean, it's reality.
Sad, very sad.
Yeah, yeah.
It's very interesting, this discussion.
Oh, I'm glad that you like it. And welcome to the group. Welcome.
Thank you.
So, yeah, it's a fantastic story, and so that's why Mahmoud. Now, Mahmoud, I believe you're well into the book. Does this help you understand the purpose of the book, Mahmoud?
Yes. I need to read it again.
Yeah, it might help. It might help. So, Mahmoud, what was the second chapter? That was about the Mississippi Mounds. Is that right?
No.
Oh.
Next one is
What was after the Olmecs?
Florida and found.
That was Roberts. Roberts, okay, great. What can you tell us, Robert, about the next chapter?
Really, not too much.
That's okay.
What I can say is, of course, what said Santa, that it was punishment for us with this book. It was I have no word to name it correctly, but it's very, very difficult. I had to read my book as well, not only listen, so it was completely difficult, but quite interesting. This discussion, what I heard now, it's makes sense about this book, because I'm not sure what the purpose of this book was. And the second chapter, it was interesting. The first thing, what was interesting is the history of this fountain. That it was about
the Fountain of Youth.
Yeah, Fountain of Youth, that's right. And it was interesting that it was known in Europe at, if I could remember, 12th century. So it was very, very early. And the second thing that was much interesting is it was that they met some giant Indians.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, exactly. So there's two things here. And I want to add about the Fountain of Youth. What I thought was interesting is they also discovered, or they talked about this in the Middle Eastern history too. That the Fountain of Youth was something that they talked about in the Middle East. Marwa, go ahead.
Yeah, it was funny when he say an Arabic word.
How was his pronunciation?
Horrible. I can't understand what he said. Alexander Zulkarnain, and he mentioned the a manuscript language, and all the script language is called Al-Jamido.
Al-Janido.
Yeah, he said Al-Hamido. I don't know why.
Okay, because the J, many times we know it actually comes from, it changes to an H. That's probably why.
I don't know. So, but it type a J, and it's also pronounced as a J. Al-Jamido. It's a language. It's an Arabic language. When the Arab was the most powerful people in that time. So they type all the romantic poems in an Arabic letters.
I see. I see.
Mhm.
They're very interesting. Okay, so going back to Robert, Santa, I think you got what is the thing. The last thing that Robert said was the discovery of the giant Indians was also very interesting.
Oh, he just said they were interesting.
Yeah, exactly. That was interesting.
All right. Thank you.
So let me go back to Robert. Robert, so when you heard about the Fountain of Youth, and you heard, they talked a lot about science things and the water constitution and la-di-da. What did you think about that? Do you have an opinion about that?
It's difficult to say, to have some opinion, because when I was young I have read a lot of that things like Aztec and so on. So it was just additional thing that it was good to know that there is something like this piece of knowledge.
Yes, absolutely. What did you think about the giant Indians?
My first thought was strange, although I've read some things about giants people and very small people, that they dig some rest of people. So it was strange, but not so much.
So kind of believable.
Yeah, of course.
Did you hear recently they discovered basically miniature humans? Scientists have discovered that. Did you hear about that?
No, I don't think so.
I'm going to try and find it. Discovered, what would you call it? I don't want to say dwarfs, but maybe they are. Yeah, here we go. Oh, that's too long ago. It's much more recent. Hobbit-like. Search tools, anytime, past a year. There we go. So I'm gonna steal the screen from Santa again. Make me the presenter. So we're talking in the book. They talk about the, so to speak, discovery of giant Indians, and when they say giant, they mean 7 to 8 feet tall. And I'll do the math of that in a minute. But right now, I just want to take you, if that sounds crazy, well, at the same time, they've just discovered, so to speak, hobbit people very, very, very short on Indonesian islands. And they've done this for for over a decade now. And they're not Homo sapiens. They're not actually humans. They've discovered this scientifically. They're much smaller, and obviously they're not monkeys either. This is what they suspect that those people look like. You can see that on your monitor. But let's go back here. Let's say 8 feet in centimeters. 240 centimeters tall. My goodness, can you imagine somebody that tall? But that's what they said they saw. They said they met American Indians who were this huge. Maybe it is possible, considering we also have the Hobbit people from Indonesia. Maybe there is people like this. And they say, again, this is suppressed history. They say there are actually skeletons that they have found. They have found weapons that are so huge that only somebody who's 240 centimeters could carry. They're too big for smaller people. And Marwa, this is not that long ago. This is, basically 400 years ago. The hobbits were much longer ago. The hobbits were 15,000 years ago. But the 240 centimeter people, evidently 400 years ago. I'll give it back to Santa. So I'm curious, Robert, where are you? You're in Europe, right? And I cannot hear you, Robert, if you're speaking. Oh, can you guys hear me? I hope so.
I can hear you.
Okay. Well, I'm just curious, in Europe, or I think actually, let me go to Mahmoud and Marwa, because I believe in the Middle East, you also have a history of giant people. And of course, people probably think it's mythology, but don't you have such a history, Marwa?
History, but an ancient history.
Sure, of course, of course. And for example, David and Goliath, I believe Goliath was considered a giant. Is that right?
Maybe.
What
Yeah,
about,
maybe. Yeah. I think that there is many very ancient people. In our history, they are giants. But I really surprised that they are 400 years ago.
yeah.
There is a giant people. Where's the remains?
Well, see, that's the thing. People say there are remains, but they're being suppressed. So I don't know. It sounds like a conspiracy theory to me, but anyway, it's kind of interesting to think about it. Yeah, Marwa, your question is exactly right. Where are the remains?
Yeah. Yeah, I suspect they can hide this kind of information.
Well, yeah, let's go see what we can find. I'm gonna take the view again from Santa, sorry, and we're just gonna go here. And let's just do a giant.
I think we have to do some research after reading this book.
Yeah,
we
exactly.
can't take information for granted.
That's right. No, that's right.
Oh.
So right now, well, here you go, giants in Saudi Arabia. Wow. Let's go to the news. So giant skeletal remains, and I'll go to the news. And is there anything that comes up here? Vero Man, here's one thing. In Florida, oh, that's pretty close. Skeletal remains. Yeah, it doesn't look like it. I'm going to try and see again. And China. Yeah, well, no, robots. Yeah, this looks like there's nothing in the news. And you could go to the regular internet and search too, and you're going to find lots of. Oh, here you go. The Great Smithsonian Cover-Up: 8 Giant Skeletons. So this is exactly what we're talking about. But is it true or not? And like Marwa said, how can they actually cover up these types of discoveries? It seems that it would be impossible. And
especially 400 years ago. I just focus on this number.
Well, see, but then you get pictures like this, and these are real pictures. This is from a newspaper in the New York Times, very difficult to make, and you see that they have some really huge remains, but now where are they? They're gone. And where are they? That's the question. So I'll give you this link. You guys can look at it. I don't know if it's interesting. But I agree, Marwa. 400 years ago seems awfully new. 14,000 years ago, sure, maybe. But 400 years ago seems strange to me too. Strange skeletons found in Wisconsin. Oh my goodness, this is exciting. I live in Wisconsin. Ooh. Oh, I'm going to have to go exploring. Okay, so they're talking about the mounds. Now, this was actually in the 3rd chapter, which Mahmoud was reading. Right, Mahmoud?
Unfortunately, right.
Well, you know what, Mahmoud? I'm going to be really nice. And this is what we're going to do. Santa, oh, I have to give the screen back to Santa. Are you guys interested? Is this an interesting discussion that we're having? I hope so.
I have suggestions.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Take 2 chapters each week. What
Right.
do you think?
No, that's what I want to do too. Now, because people have a membership on Audible, I want to give them the chance. But yeah, I think 2 chapters a week is going to be better. Now, we can do, we're going to meet in 2 weeks. So we can do 2 chapters 2 weeks from now. We can also start another book and kind of mix 2 books together. I'm curious as to how you would like to do it. Santa says yes, which is fine with me. Mahmoud, what do you say?
But a small book.
Yeah, a small book. So why don't we do this? That Charlie is, yeah, exactly. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. That's a small, easy book, right? Okay, hold on a second, everybody. I'm going to take the screen from Santa again, just a second. I'm sorry to take you back and forth. I'm going to go to Audible. There we go. And I'm going to look for Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. And we've got the 3-hour, perfect. Did we choose one, Santa? Turn your mic on, Santa, if you can.
And we first chose the Charlie, and then we're gonna do the Wally Lamb book.
Okay, so let's do this. Which one did we choose of these? I think the upper one, right? Yeah. Yeah.
I can't. You're not showing your screen.
I'm sorry, everybody. Okay, so how can they have so many stories in this one?
I think it's the first one.
Maybe this will be better because the stories are even shorter. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stories.
Okay, so it's not Chocolate Factory, but
No, there are 5 different stories by Ron. This might be a good one, huh?
Yeah, it might be all right. I mean, you have to ask, like.
Yeah. So let me ask Marwa, Robert, Mahmoud, Andre, did you already get the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory book or not yet?
I think Gulia did, but anyway.
Okay.
Not yet.
Not yet. Marwa?
No, not yet.
Not yet. Marwa, you did?
Okay. No.
I think Gulia did because she wanted to cancel her membership for a couple months.
Right.
Do you remember?
Right. Yeah. Well, then maybe I'll try and help her out here. Let's do that. Let's do this. So 2 weeks later, we're going to meet in 2 weeks, and we're going to discuss 2 things. Don't worry, Veronica. We'll get Veronica too. We'll do this. This book has 5 stories. It's 3 hours and 40 minutes long. So I have no idea how long each chapter is. I guess I could get it right now. What we're going to do is we'll do the first story, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and we'll discuss that entire story, the entire story. And then 2 weeks later, we'll do this one, and we'll see how it goes. Maybe we'll add more stories. Also, we're going to do the next 2 chapters in the history book. So the first chapter is Mississippi Mounds, and what's the chapter after that? I don't have the book with, here we go. I have to look it up here. Chapters.
Lewis and Clark.
So chapter 5 is Mississippi Mounds. Is that right, Mahmoud?
Chapter 3, Mississippi.
So you're in the book though, right?
Yeah. Lewis and Clark and the Journey West. This chapter 4.
Okay, so make presenter. Yeah, I'm confused. Right now I'm listening to chapter 5.
3. The Mysteries of the Mississippi Mound Builders.
Okay.
3. The
Yeah.
Mysteries of 3.
Yeah, it says on the audiobook, chapter 3, the mysteries of the Mississippi Mound Builders, and chapter 4, Lewis and Clark and the Journey West. Is that right, Mahmoud?
Right.
Okay, that's what we're going to do next week. Sorry, 2 weeks from now. 2 weeks from now. Mississippi Mound Builders and Lewis and Clark. And we're going to do the first story from the Roald Dahl audio collection, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Now, I hope that you guys feel free to ask me questions during the week if you have any big questions on the stories, because they are very interesting stories. But I completely agree. Like Robert said, like Marwa said, this is torture. But hopefully now you can listen with a different ear and hopefully catch the basic idea of the story. And I'll do my best to help fill in the blanks too. Personally, I didn't know it at the time, but personally I really enjoyed this type of history book. But anyway, go ahead, Marwa.
No, nothing. Nothing. I don't want anything.
Does this sound like a good idea for 2 weeks later?
I think that's too much also, but I will try, because I will first listen to this story, the Chocolate Factory.
Good, that's fine.
Charlie.
Now, by the way, we can do this too. Marwa, you don't have to listen to both Mississippi and Lewis and Clark. You can pick one of them. That's fine too. And Andre, Mahmoud, Robert, Santa, the same thing. You don't have to, I don't care if you skip one of those, because it's really tough. I know it's really tough. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory should be easy. But I know the Mississippi or the Lewis and Clark are going to be tough. Now, personally, I also got the book. Just like Robert, yes. So this on Sunday I'll get the book. So I'm going to be reading it and listening to it, which is going to be a big help to me. But I don't want us to give it up. I want us to keep going, because there should be many interesting things to talk about. Robert, you listened to the entire history book already? Wow. And what percentage did you understand?
In this case, I have to say that it was about 40%.
Oh, that's good, Robert. That's actually really good.
I don't think so.
Oh.
It was better with other books, so I was confused.
Well, that's good. I'm glad. So I want you just to review the other chapters, and I'll bet it's going to be much easier for you. You said you bought the book too, right?
Not really, but I have a written version. Actually, I have a ebook version.
Oh, the ebook. Got it.
Yeah.
Very good, very good. Yeah, I'm getting the print book, like I said, tomorrow. So there. So I'm glad that you finished it. You're tough. That's very good. I haven't finished it. Like I said, I'm still in the middle of chapter 5 on the audiobook, chapter 5. A lot to go. Well, I hope you guys don't mind this plan. And once again, I promise to be healthy and well for 2 weeks from now. So 2 weeks from now, we'll meet at the same time. And I know for some of you, it's not the best of times. So perhaps 2 weeks after that, we'll change it to a different time to see if it's we can find a better time too. I know Robert doesn't really like the time. And I know Mahmoud is okay, but there might be a better time too. So we'll find something out. Don't worry. We'll try and find a better time for everybody. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah, sure. When's the next meeting?
So 2 weeks. So I'm looking at my calendar.
9th of April.
Yes, the 9th of April, 10 o'clock.
Okay.
And once again, 3 things. One of those 2 chapters, if you can do both chapters, great. I want to hear everybody talking. And then the abridged version of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Santa will send you that link just to make sure everybody gets the right one. Okay?
All right. Sounds great.
Great. Andre, are you still asleep? Are you asleep or are you still awake?
I'm enjoying.
Great, great. Mahmoud, are you okay?
Okay.
I'm tired.
I know, you sound tired. Marwa is always fine.
Oh, I'm always full of energy.
Marwa has done a wonderful job.
Oh, I
Oh, thanks.
absolutely agree. You did a great job with the Olmecs. I'm very pleased. You seem to have understood it very, very well. So I'm anticipating you will also understand the Mississippi Mound Builders or Lewis and Clark just as well.
I hope so.
I hope so too. Thanks a lot, everybody. Have a great one, and I will upload this on one of our channels. Thanks, guys.
See you guys. Have a good week.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.